Welcome to the ultimate top tier super heavy samurai guide where I'm going to be covering the core of the deck, common starters and end fields. How good will super heavy samurai be? The downsides of the deck, TCG, OCG performance, how to create the common end fields with starters, how to play through hand traps like Maxx C, Shifter, Droll, Gamma, Ogre, Ash, Imperm, Valor, NIBIRU, Decklists for Master Duel, degenerate combos like Spell Canceller negating all spells, 2 first-turn kills, and a 4-card hand loop. Now, in addition to MasterDuelMeta.com being a great source for Master Duel, so is the Discord. Discord.gg/MasterDuelMeta, which is where we're getting most of our information thanks to Super Peludo. Super Peludo has some great pin messages in the Super Heavy Samurai channel. And these are going to be the common cards that you're going to want to be playing in the deck. This will be the core of the deck. This is at minimum what you're going to want to be playing. Now, what's so good about these cards? All of these set up common, crazy end board fields. You only need one of these cards in your hand plus another card for discarding, and you can make common end fields like this. Triple Monster Negate Apollo USA, Omni Negate Therion, negate anything with Baron to Floor, searchable Kaiju, plus drawing 2 cards, and a follow-up Super Heavy Samurai play. What else? We have Sprite Elf, targeting protection, pop the Scythe, summon the Scythe, your opponent cannot use the extra deck, Regulus and Baron to Floor, Omni Negate, plus a Super Heavy follow-up, and another end field. Trading the Baron to Floor for Dispater so that you can loop 2 cards out of your opponent's hand with the Omega, Lambda, so you could use a searched Gamma, even with monsters on the field, to negate a monster and destroy. And we have Regulus, which will be able to omni-negate anything. Now, let's be talking about how good is the deck, starting with the downsides. The deck is not going to do well with spell or traps in the deck. Most of the monster effects state you have to have no spell and trap cards in your graveyard in order to activate their effects. So you're not going to be expecting or be playing Call by the Grave, no infinite impermanence. You don't have to play around Triple Tactics talent when playing against Super Heavy Samurai. They're not going to be able to Thrust, which is a very powerful card, mostly used by Brain of Despia right now. Even if your opponent Maxx sees you, you're able to thrust a good trap into your back row, which this also is not going to be able to play any traps. What is another downside of Super Heavy Samurai? The deck loses to Maxx C and Droll and Lockbird. And with them not being able to play cards like Crossout Designator or Call by the Grave, it leaves them a bit more susceptible to these cards. But how well did the deck do in TCG and OCG? First of all, we're going to talk about the bans. So OCG, Super Heavy Samurai Soul Piercer, limited to 1. I think when we have a deck being released in Master Duel that's already limited and restricted in TCG and OCG, that's an objective way to see that the deck is good. I don't have to tell you, you can see it yourself. Not only is Soul Piercer limited to 1 in OCG, but the Link Monster, Super Heavy Samurai Scarecrow, banned in the TCG. Now, what else? Because you may be thinking, we have the deck at full power, right, in Master Duel? Because this is going to be unlimited, and so is the Scarecrow, and none of the new cards are restricted, so is it really full power, though? We do not have Block Dragon. That is something that the OCG was abusing and still can abuse today. Also, some people were playing Cyberstein. We don't have Cyberstein. We're not going to be able to set up a Naturia Exterio for the infinite spell and trap card Negate. But I still believe the deck is still going to be great in Master Duel. And let's look at the TCG performance. Starting off with in May, there was a YCS where Kashtira was at full power, and inherently a card like a Rise Heart counters Super Heavy Samurai. Now, despite that, it was still the second most played deck in the tournament. So this is what the first place deck looked like, as you could see what Kashtira looked like. Look at that. Oh my cheeses. They even had the Diablos Mind Hacker. Now, what did the deck list look like here for TCG? This is a top 8 Noah from this tournament. And TCG really liked playing the Tunneler. I'm not sure if this is going to be the best way to play it in Master Duel because of Maxx C, but even despite Maxx C, this does help you play through extra disruptions. If your opponent were to, let's say, Gamma or Ogre you're going to be able to play through it much easier with a card like Tunneler and Gearbox and searching for the combo with the Ballista. So this is the main deck, and then this is what the extra and side deck looks like. I'll zoom out a bit. So this is what the TCG looks like. Another deck list, Patrick Hoban abusing Cyberstein and Sanctifier Dragon to give the opponent Gimmick Puppet Nightmare. Ain't no way. It is a level 8 machine. What the heck? Searchable with the Clifford Genius. Now, we're not going to be playing it like this. Let's look at what happened in TCG, though. Unfortunately, we don't have much data to show beyond this because the deck was released in early May, and then by the next month, they announced a ban list. May 27th, so within the same month of the deck becoming top tier, where they had to play against full power Kashtira countering them, the deck then just got Scarecrow banned and even Cyberstein. You know, not that it was a direct hit for Super Heavy Samurai, but some of them were abusing it, as you saw, for the Exterio or even the Gimmick Puppet combo. Now, what about OCG, where Maxx C exists? This is what the best performance for the deck looked like. It was never the best deck. They had full power Purely, full power Kashtira, so having to deal with the Expurely Nor and the Arise Heart, so all your cards are banished. A lot of your cards, they do want to go in the graveyard. Here's another sample of the meta looking like this, where Super Heavy Samurai was maintaining like a top 3, top 4 spot in the meta. And Adamancipator, it was not just Adamancipator. It is using the Super Heavy Samurai cards. So let's see what the deck list looked like. So this is what they would call an Adamancipator deck. And this is what the Soul Piercer being limited to 1. So let's zoom out. This is a large deck that is going to be the main deck. And this is the extra deck. Now, a lot of people are saying that this deck, if you were to Maxx C it, they will deck you out with Block Dragon. And then, yeah, it was also abusing cards like Agido and Kelbeck. Now, what was a more Super Heavy Samurai type deck list? This one. First place of the Duelist Cup 2023 China Final. This is where they had triple Soul Piercer. This had to then get limited to 1. So I'm thinking this is very close to, if not exactly, how we are going to be playing it in Master Duel. Much closer we are to OCG than TCG because of the existence of Maxx C. Triple Droll and Lockbird, which is also going to be great for the mirror match. A ton of hand traps. If your opponent Maxx C's you, I think it would be better to have more disruption during their turn instead of playing cards like the Gearbox and the Tunneler. But I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and forth. And then the Kaijus and the Curry Cars for the Expurely Nors. You know, it's a big deal. And then here's the extra deck. Now, let's keep on going. Back to the common starters and the end fields. We're going to show you how to make the common plays. So we're going to start off with the worst way to open up the deck, which is Wagon. All the other cards are better to open up with. So let's do that play. We're going to start off by summoning the Wagon. It's going to go to defense. It will then activate to put itself in attack position to search your deck for a Soul. Super Heavy Samurai Soul. Some will search for any Super Heavy Samurai. This will only search for a Soul. Now, Soul Piercer is broken because every time it's sent from the field to the graveyard, it's going to search your deck. It's not hard once per turn, so you're going to be looping that multiple times potentially. We're going to equip it onto the Wagon, and then we're going to be linking it off. Now, what if you opened up a Soul Piercer? Because we said that these are all the common starters. Instead of equipping the Soul Piercer onto Wagon, you just normal summon it, and then you link off in your Scarecrow as we did right here. So this is what the 2 different starters, and it would be ending on the exact same field here. Now, we're going to be triggering the Soul Piercer, searching our deck for any card, which will be the Bike. Now, same thing. If you open up Bike, you would instead, turn 1, discard it, search for your Wakashi. And then you're going to, because you did not use your normal summon yet, if you did not open up Wagon or the Soul Piercer, you'll then search for Soul Piercer and then normal summon it and then make your Scarecrow. So these are the 4 common starter cards, and they're all going to do the exact same field. So we're going to be playing right into that field. The Wakashi is going to be setting up the Benki as your Pendulum Scale. And then the Wakashi is going to summon itself onto the field. And then the Benki, similar to the Wagon, is going to be searching for a Super Heavy Samurai Soul card only, Soul. So that's going to be your Soul Peacemaker. What's very important with the Scarecrow is 2 things. It cannot be used as a link material, so you want to get it off the field, and we're going to show you how. Another thing is it points to the bottom left. So you do not want to be putting any monsters into your field 1 or field 3, your center field and your far left field, because part of its effect is to summon a monster from the graveyard to where it's pointing to. So we're going to be dealing with both of those issues right now. We're going to be discarding any card from our hand. This is the 1.5 card play, where the 0.5 is any card in your hand that you could discard for this. And then you're going to reborn your monster from the graveyard. That's going to be your Soul Piercer. Then you're going to go right into your Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon. What's great about this is even if you don't have a Samurai Bike to reborn from the graveyard, you need a level 2 tuner, you could have a Gamma in the graveyard. How would you have Gamma in the graveyard? Well, you could discard any level 2 tuner with the Scarecrow so that it could be comboed up with the Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon, which you're going to see plays like that later. So the Stardust Dragon is going to then reborn from the graveyard. The Wakashi being used for a Synchro is going to put itself back as a Pendulum scale. So now we have scale 1 to scale 8. And that's going to be coming up soon. We're also triggering the Soul Piercer to search our deck, and we're reborning from the graveyard. So what's very important here is the chain link blocking. We do not want Piercer to get Ash Blossomed. We do not want Stardust to get Ghost Spelled. We are going to put the Super Heavy Samurai Wakashi on the latest chain link to block all those cards from being disrupted. So that's all resolving now. Reborn from the graveyard. Now it has fully resolved. Now we're going to synchro into our Baron to Floor. And what you could do is, let's say your opponent wanted to activate NIBIRU right then and there. You'll be playing Stardust Dragon. So the Excel Synchro Stardust could chain to NIBIRU, synchroing into a Baron to Floor, which will be unaffected from the NIBIRU, and you're going to see plays like that later. So here you have the Baron to Floor, and let's so what this common starter field does is going to lead into the 3 different end fields. So without going through the full starter all over again, we're going to be basically starting at this field, and we're going to be dealing with the issue of the Scarecrow not being able to be used as a link material. So remember this field, and let's go into the next 3 common fields. So this is where we would go into the Excel Stardust Dragon, right? And then let's see what we do here. We're going to be reborning from the graveyard. That's going to be our Baron to Floor. And we're also searching a different card here. We're searching for Stealthy instead, which is going to be a free special summon. And then we're going to be making our Baron to Floor. Now, let's get comboing. We're going to equip the Peacemaker onto the Scarecrow because it cannot be used as a link material. We're going to be tributing it off the field to special summon from the deck a Super Heavy Samurai. Very well done. Reborn from the deck. Now, this one is great. Scales. It is an effect on summon to special summon a monster from the graveyard. So this is going to be either from the hand or from the deck on normal or special summon. So special summon could be our Pendulum summon if we have this in the hand. Now let's reborn from the graveyard. As I told you, the Piercer is not hard once per turn. So we want to keep on looping that effect to keep on searching our deck. We're going to send both of them for our Ballista. Now, this is just for this common end field. We're going to be doing other combos that do not have Ballista. So Ballista is going to be activating, and so will the Piercer. We're going to be adding a Wakashi, and we're going to be adding a Gearbox. Gearbox, when added from the deck to your hand, could add 1 Earth Machine monster with 500 attack or defense from your deck to your hand. Now, you could add, we're going to be adding with that, get ready with that. It's going to trigger in the hand, and it's going to add the Tunneler. Tunneler is going to be adding to our ability to make bigger link summons, and it has the crazy effects in the graveyard of being able to draw 2 cards by recycling cards in your graveyard back into your deck. So let's be setting that up. So we're going to get ready to Pendulum summon. First, we're going to special summon the Stealthy because we don't want to Pendulum summon yet, and then we're going to link this off into our Clifford Genius. I think at this point you can understand why this deck gets hit hard by Maxx C and Droll and Lockbird, which we will be addressing later. Now, Clifford Genius is absolute insanity. It's unaffected by spell and trap card effects. It can help you deal with floodgates because you could target a face-up card on each side of the field and then negate their effects. If they have a Baguska, negate Baguska. If they have a face-up floodgate, negate. But we're not even using it for that great effect. It's also 1800 attack. That's quite large. We're going to use it for the other effect. When 2 monsters are special summoned at the same time to the zones this points to, aka a Pendulum summon, it's going to trigger to search our deck for a level 5 or higher machine monster from your deck to your hand. That could be a Spell Canceller. That could be a Therion Omni Negate. That could be a Kaiju. It could even be Puppet Nightmare, as we saw Patrick Hoban was using. So let's get ready for our Pendulum Summon now. And it's important to note that it doesn't say you have to summon 2 machine monsters or earth monsters or dark monsters. It is anything. So if you, let's say you have an Ash Blossom that you don't want to use in your hand and you only have 1 monster to summon from your hand. So you could do Ash Blossom plus a Super Heavy Samurai and it will trigger its effect. So do remember that. You're going to be in some scenarios where you have to do that. So this could be a triple special summon on the Pendulum, Triggering the Genius, we're grabbing a Kaiju here. As I said, we could grab Therion instead. This would be really good if you're playing against Purely. And if Purely is not going to be as played as soon as this is released, it will be going up again once they give the baby Nor. So do expect that. They will be summoning the X Purely Nor, and you're going to be searching this even on your first turn, where they're going to end on X Purely Nor on their turn after trying to disrupt your fields. Let's keep on going. And now we're going to rank 4 Exceed into the Springen's Merrymaker. What's it effect do? What it do? We don't care what it do because we're going to overlay it right now. We're going to overlay into the Sargass. Sargass and the Clifford Genius are the two ways to search for your Therion. So we're going to be activating, grabbing the Therion Regulus. This will target a machine monster in the graveyard. If they chain, let's say, a Bestial, or if they chain a DD Crow, it does not matter. You're still going to special summon. You just won't equip the card from the graveyard. So it actually does not get stopped also by something like Call by the Grave. So we're going to be sending both of those, all three to the graveyard for our Apollo USA, which will be triple Monster Negate. And then the Therion is going to be equipping a machine from the graveyard. And then we're equipping the Soul Piercer. So we could use the effect again. Baron to floor, pop the Soul Piercer. And then Piercer is going to be searching for a follow-up play. This will be we have follow-up Kaiju searching for our full combo play. We have Pendulum Scales. We have 2 Omni Negates plus triple Monster Negate. That is one of the common fields. And we're not done. We're also drawing 2 cards. Draw into potentially up to 2 hand traps as we return 5 cards in the graveyard back in the deck to get drawn on 2 more cards. That is crazy. Now, what is the other field? So again, this is the common starter of all the different ways where they end on this, and they're about to make the Excel Stardust Synchro, right? Let's go. Let's Synchro Shokan into the Stardust Dragon. Let's Reborn from the graveyard. Let's speed this up. Did not search for Stealthy this time. We're going to be searching for a Wakashi instead. So we're now going to be reborning the bike and go into our Baron de Floor. So we're going to be protecting our combos if they're holding onto any hand traps. We're going to be Peacemaker, tributing the Scarecrow, special summon for the deck, the Scales, Scales Reborn from the graveyard, the Piercer. And then we're going to be linking this off, not into the Ballista. So if you're not playing the Ancient Gear version of the deck, this will be the combo you go for instead. So you get the Clifford Genius. Piercer is going to be searching for the Motorbike, and then we're going to Pendulum Summon to the scale where it's pointing to, and then that's going to trigger the effect. We're not going to be going for the Kaiju here. We're going to be grabbing the Regulus, and then we're going to be setting up that Omni Negate. So we have double Negate to Baron de Floor and the Therion, and then we're going to be sending the Clifford Genius and the Motorbike to create a Dagda. I do think this will be a common way to play the deck. You have to chain Dagda to you activating a card to set up a Scythe. So get ready for that. We're going to activate Baron de Floor to pop the Piercer, but chain the Dagda to the Baron de Floor to set up an artifact Scythe from the deck, just like that. Now we need a way to pop the Scythe during the opponent's turn. So the Piercer being destroyed is going to be searching for a Booster. Booster is going to be an extender. It's going to summon itself onto the field after equipping onto a Super Heavy Samurai. Special summon onto the field. We have level 4 tuner plus level 4 non-tuner, and we're going to keep on going. We're not even synchroing yet. We're going to link off into a Sprite Elf, which will protect any of our monsters it's pointing to from being targeted. You can also reborn Bike from the graveyard if we want. We could reborn level 2. We're going to be using the effect that I think a lot of people are going to screw up when playing this deck. This effect states that you could discard 1 monster, special summon a Super Heavy Samurai from your hand, or deck and defense. So this was a bit illegal here. We discarded an Upstart Goblin, but pretend we discarded a monster. And how are people going to screw this up? Not by discarding Upstart, but it locks you into Super Heavy Samurai monsters only. So people are going to look at combo guides and go, what the heck? How are you summoning Baron de Floor and Therion when you're locked into Super Heavy Samurai? You only activate this card as the absolute last thing you do, because you're only going to make a Super Heavy Samurai play afterward. It's the last resort. Summoning a Piercer, and now you can see why this card was limited to 1, and we're going to be synchroing with it, and that is going to be our Sarutobi. This has the quick effect during either player's turn. If you have no spell and trap cards in your graveyard, yeah, I know we have an Upstart Goblin, but the whole deck is monsters, so this is just to show extra cards. And maybe we should have replaced that Beaver Warriors, yes? The Sarutobi is going to target your own artifact Scythe or your opponent's back row if you want, destroy it, and then Scythe is going to get summoned, and then you're going to be locked out of the extra deck on top of us having our Baron de Floor and Therion. So you could be questioning, why not summon the Ceratobi to where the elf is pointing to? Well, you probably want to summon the Scythe to where the elf is pointing to, or you could summon the Ceratobi there. Either or is where you would want the elf to be giving you that targeting protection. So we're going to be searching for the bike, set up the Scythe, and then pop it. And then now let's do the third and final common field. I'm trying to not bore you here. Now, again, this is where we excel start a synchro, right? We're going to do something else instead. We're going to be synchroing into a level 8 into the Omega. Omega is going to rip cards from the opponent's hand, and it's not a hard once per turn. So if we have a way to resummon it, we activate it more than once. So we're going to be triggering our cards. We're going to search and set up the pendulum scale. We got the stealthy. Omega is going to be ripping a card out of the hand there. And then now let's do the normal combos. Some of the scales, reborn from the graveyard, the piercer. You're remembering this. It's all the same pretty much. And we're going to be doing Ballista with this play. So there's 2 Ballista decks and 1 non-Ballista. Ballista searching for, I'll fast forward this. We're going to grab Bokashi. We got the Gearbox. Gearbox will be activating to grab a Tunneler here. The combo is going to be a little bit different. We're going to make the Clifford Genius. We are going to Pendulum Summon, trigger the Clifford Genius, grab the Therion, not the Kaiju this time. We're going to now make the Excel start a synchro. Why are we doing it late? Well, we're not making a Baron to floor. We're going to reborn level 2 tuner, and then we're going to make Dissipator. This is going to be able to, in response to a monster effect, destroy it by returning a banished card of yours back into the deck. Or if you return a banished card from your opponent, it's going to negate the monster effect instead. And also it has the other effect of special summoning your Omega back on the field to rip another card from your opponent's hand. So we're double the rip. We're going to first summon the Therion Regulus. It's generally better to set up a negate before going into other plays. We're now going to be linking this off into the Lambda. This is when the combo becomes even better. So we're going to reborn the Omega, getting ready to rip a second card out of their hand. First, we're going to Tunneler, banish, return 5 cards, and draw 2. And the combo's not done yet. So this is 2 additional cards. Get ready, get ready. Omega is going to banish to then rip another card of the hand. And then this states if a face-up Psychic was banished while you control this card, you could activate this effect. So during the end phase, you're going to search for a Psyframe Gear Gamma. And it states you could activate the Psyframe Gear Gamma even while you control monsters on the field. So that's going to be our extra disruption there. So let's search for the Gamma. This is +2 cards, Gamma Monster Negate and Destroy, Therion Negate, Dissipator Negate or Destroy, and Lambda allowing us to activate the Gamma from the hand. That is what this field was able to do. Now, let's move on to something else here. What is this? We have Droll, Wakashi, and Maxx C. So I'm going to be showing you how to play through, actually, let me skip this. We're going to show you how to play through Shifter and Maxx C. We're going to get right back to that replay. So very important, Maxx C shuts down the deck, and Shifter also potentially could shut down the deck. So pretend the Shifter is an Arise Heart. It could even be that. So right back onto the replay, where I'm going to show you with Maxx C and Droll and Lockbird what to do if you get Maxx C and you have Droll and Lockbird. All right, we're going to be... Now, why wouldn't they Maxx C here? Everyone's going to be playing Gamma. So if they Maxx C before the Wakashi hits the field, they're probably going to get Gamma. They're going to lose the duel. I would not be Maxx C'ing here. It's a big mistake. I would think so, playing into every deck having 2 Gamma. Now, Wakashi setting up the Benki. Benki is going to be searching for the Piercer. And why did Droll not happen? This is our Droll. This is if the opponent has Maxx C and we have Droll and Lockbird, we are going to use our own Droll and Lockbird to turn off the Maxx C. And I'm going to show you when and how. So Maxx C would be used right now. So Maxx C is going to be activated, and they're going to get their first draw. So this will be special summoning our Scarecrow, and then the Piercer is going to activate. They're going to be drawing 1 card here. And we're going to be grabbing the Motorbike, discarding it to grab for a Peacemaker. Now, we cannot draw on Lockbird here. We have to draw on Lockbird on the next draw. So they're going to actually draw 2 cards off of Maxx C. Don't get confused by this. It's going to discard, reborn, and then we're going to draw on Lockbird, all right? So they draw their second card, then we draw on Lockbird, which means we can't add cards either. So they're going to draw 2 off Maxx C, and then this is what our play is. we're not going to search again. We're going to Baron to floor, we're going to equip, we're going to special, we're going to Reborn from the graveyard, and you can make a Borreload Savage Dragon and a Baron to floor where they only draw 2 cards with Maxx C if you have something like a Droll and Lockbird in your own hand to counter the Maxx C, because we can't play Call by the Grave or Crossout. So 2 Called By and Crossout is our 3 Droll and Lockbirds to also shut down the mirror match. What's another way to play around Maxx C? And Dimension Shifter at the same time. So every card is going to be banished when sent to the graveyard, and let's say we're also under Maxx C. So they're going to draw 1 card here. That sucks. Benki's going to search. Now, Booster in this replay is going to special summon because it's not playing around Maxx C, but we could normal summon it. We could search for Piercer instead or Booster, normal it because we're under Maxx C. But just to show that it could be special summoned. So remember, they only drew 1 card off. Let's say they hold on to Maxx C, right? They only Maxx C when we are about to go into another play here because they want to wait. Or maybe, I don't think they play right into Gamma, right? So we're going to be assuming that. So this is going to be draw just 1. You Baguska. So you normal summon, getting ready to make your play into the Scarecrow. They drop Maxx C. You go, okay. So you're going to be normal summoning a Piercer here, by the way. Search Piercer, normal summon Piercer. I have to, you know, the replays are not showing Maxx C because they're TCG replays, so I'm changing them a bit. And then once they drop the Maxx C, you're going to then go right into Baguska. They draw 1 and you're fine. So that is going to be your Baguska line, searching for Piercer, normal summon Piercer like you're setting up your normal play. Then they reveal the Maxx C because they're not activating it early to play around Gamma. And then, yeah, Baguska, just like that. What's another play? So this play is not going to really be about Maxx C. It's going to be more so around like Shifter. Shifter is going to be the main card we're playing around. This is going to be a Zeus play. So we're going to special summon Wakashi, grab the Soul Piercer, and it's going to be a big Zeus. We're going to be going into the Merrymaker, into the Sargass. Sargass will be attacking, and that's a 4 material Zeus. First, we're going to search for a Regulus, and then 4 material Zeus under Dimension Shifter if you want to wipe up the field. Now, what if you just want to lethal them? You don't want to wipe up their field. You want to deal lethal damage in a minimal amount of special summons. Because let's say maybe we're under Maxx C in this replay and under Dimension Shifter at the same time. So let's set that up. Shifter happens. And the great thing about Motorbike is it does not have to be sent to the graveyard. It can be banished to activate the search. A card like Lubellian Bestial has to go to the graveyard for the search. So there are differences there. We're going to grab the Wakashi. Let's speed this up since you've seen this plays multiple times, but all our cards are being banished. We are going to be summoning using the effect of Wakashi. This, again, does not require the monster you discard. Again, a monster, not an Upstart Goblin. The monster you discard, your whole deck is monsters, by the way. The monster you discard is going to lock you into super heavy Samurai summoning only. But it's okay. We're going for game here. The Wagon's going to activate, grabbing a booster, which is going to be an extender here. And then we have the Soul Horns. Now, Soul Horns wasn't used as much in the TCG, but because Maxx C exists in Master Duel, I think this will possibly be more popular. It gives you the ability to attack twice. So if your opponent Maxx C's you and you're looking for this OTK line, let's see what we do. We're going to equip the booster, special summon, and this will be our level 12 synchro summon into the Steam Train King. 4,800 attack because it can attack while in defense. You could discard up to 2 cards, target that many cards your opponent controls, destroy them. So pop their back row or monsters. And then at 48 plus double attack with Soul Horns, and this is also under Dimension Shifter, this is going to be your OTK line against Shifter and potentially Maxx C if you just want to end the game early and not give them too many draws. Very nice. Now, we have how do we play around Droll and Lockbird? This will we saw how to use it ourselves against Maxx C, but how do we play around this if the opponent is the one with Droll and Lockbird? Let's see. So this is going to be a replay where we open up Gamma. And the thing is, when they activate Droll and Lockbird, we're going to have a monster on the field, so Gamma's not going to be able to negate the Droll and Lockbird. As you can see, with this play, we're assuming the opponent's also not going to Maxx C early because you would then Gamma it for some easy plays. So let's assume our opponent's good. Wakashi is going to special summon. We're going to equip the Benki. Now, Soul Piercer, is it going to search? Let's see. We're going to make the Scarecrow. We're passing on the search because we can't Gamma the Droll and Lockbird. So we're going to say no. I am not going to be searching with the Soul Piercer. Say no. So this is what I believe you should do if you open up a hand like this. Do not do your common starter play. This will be safer. Discard a card, reborn to where the Scarecrow is pointing to. That's going to be our Soul Piercer. And then we're going to be making Lambda. Lambda will allow the activation of Gamma as the Soul Piercer searches. They use their Droll and Lockbird. You then negate. So let's play through it. And this is just assuming that they would have drolled. Now, maybe they don't droll because you see the Lambda. Well, let's see how far we go with this combo, because this will be our common play if we open up Gamma. We're going to be grabbing the Peacemaker. It's very similar to the other plays here. Equip onto the Scarecrow, special summon for the deck, Scales, Reborn the Piercer. We got Ballista for this combo here. We're going to be adding the Wakashi and the Gearbox. Gearbox will be triggering. That's going to grab the Tunneler, and we have the protection with Gamma. They droll us. We got that negate. We're going to be grabbing a wagon here, and then we're going to be setting up the Pendulum Scales, summoning 4 bodies onto the field, searching for a booster for a further extender here. We're going to be making the Stardust Excel, Reborn, making the Baron to Floor, special summon onto the field after equipping. We're going to Sargass searching for the Regulus, and then Regulus is going to be our other Omni Negate. Baron to Floor pop, searching for a follow-up, and I mean, damn. Look at this. We're still going. We got Apollo USA. We're going to draw 2 cards. This is the Droll in Lockbird proof combo. If you open up a common starter and you have a Gamma in your hand, this is the play you make. Do not play into the Droll in Lockbird. That card's going to rise so far, so much in value. Everyone's going to be playing it. If we look at MasterDuelMeta.com, the official usage of Droll in Lockbird, and so let's go to usage. We type in Droll. It's at 27%. That's already really high. And it's gone down because the usage of Purely. And it's only going to go back up. This may go up to like 40, even 50%, depending on how popular Super Heavy Samurai is. And also Monadium. This is very good against Monadium. So you do want to learn that Gamma play, rewatch it, keep on going to it. Now, let's keep on going. Here's the other Droll and Lockbird play. Now, we opened up Gamma, but we're not going to use Gamma for being Gamma. We're going to pretend like this is just a generic level 2 tuner. It could be Motorbike or Gamma. This will be our other play to play around Droll and Lockbird, so let's pay attention to that. Wagon could also be Soul Pierce. Gamma could also be Bike. As Super Polito is saying, thank you very much. Got the Wagon, and we're going to be going into the Scarecrow. Now, the Wagon didn't search because we want to play around the Droll and Lockbird. Do not allow them to droll you. We're going to Reborn the Wagon. Got the Wakashi. Wakashi is not triggering the Droll and Lockbird. We're going to go right into the Stardust Excel Synchro. So I didn't add any cards from the deck to the hand. By the time we add from the deck to the hand, we're going to have a Baron to Floor on the field. So just like that, Baron to Floor, and then we could start adding. And then we could pop off from here. Droll happens, we negate with Baron to Floor. Now, we didn't show the Gamma negating Droll because it would add to the combo, giving us a free level 8 synchro on the field here. It would be unfair to show that. But for this instance, they did want to activate their Droll, and we did negate it. And then we're just going to let this play out as you will be getting used to this combo, especially if you're playing the Gearbox and Tunneler way, which I'm mixed on. Again, TCG, the majority of them did play it, but they're not dealing with Maxx C like we are. So I'm fearing hands where I open up Gearbox and Tunneler, they Maxx C me, and they could have been hand traps instead to, not auto lose the duel because I now have no disruption after, I guess, hopefully ending on just a Baguska. Got the Apollo, we got Therion, we got Draw 2 with the Tunneler, and just like that, a great way to play around Droll and Lockbird another way. So if you open up a level 2 tuner or the Gamma, those are going to be the 2 different plays you want to do. Now, what happens if the opponent has Gamma or Ghost Ogre against you, and they're going to be using it on your Scarecrow? So let's see what happens. How good is our field going to be still? So the Gamma is going to be in our hand, but we're going to pretend like the opponent controls it. So let's fast forward it. Wakashi, summon, equip the Benki. Benki, search for the Soul Piercer. Normal summon the Piercer, send to the graveyard, make the Scarecrow, search for the Piercer. And this is where the Scarecrow is going to be negated. But first, the Motorbike's going to be grabbing the Peacemaker. We discard a card to Reborn from the graveyard. Gamma's going to negate. They have Gamma on their field. It's not just negate, it's also destroy. So now we have Peacemaker with no Scarecrow. Let's see what we do here. Equip onto the Wakashi, summon for the deck Scales, keep on summoning Scales. Into the Piercer, Ballista is going to be searching. Yeah, we're seeing Ballista a lot in these combos, which is making me want to play the Ballista myself. Now, for this combo, we're playing Coral. I will admit, not a lot of people are playing this card, but it is good for, playing through Disruption. It's a high pendulum scale when you have the Benki in the back row, and you're not able to get Wakashi back into the pendulum scale zone because you weren't able to synchro with it, for example, in this scenario. So this is where this is great. And, do consider playing this for that reason. So now we have the low and high scale. We're going to pendulum summon. The Wakashi is in the extra deck. Does not go to the graveyard because it is a pendulum scale. So it's either being sent to your back row through synchro summoning or sent to your extra deck to then be pendulum summoned. That's another good thing about the Coral. We're now going to be synchroing this into the Stardust Excel. And, we're just wham bam, thank you, Mammon from here. We got Gamma here. Gamma's pretty big. Gamma negated and destroyed. Or Ghost Ogre. Not negate, but destroy. Because we have to summon to where the link arrow points to, it's essentially a negate on your Scarecrow. So still a wonderful field after getting Gammaed. Now, what about Ash? What do we do about Ash? Well, let's see. So for this combo, we're going to be starting off with the Piercer into the Scarecrow. We are going to be Ash and the Piercer right away. Okay, sure. Now let's try to play through it. We're going to discard a card, reborn the Piercer, and then we're going to be using our second copy of Scarecrow to trigger the Piercer again, because the Scarecrow itself cannot be used as a link material. And then we're going to be going through the normal plays. So this is a good reason if you're asking, why play 2 Scarecrows? Is it just for the follow-up? No, it's good for helping out your initial turn 1 combo if you, let's say, get Ashed or Disrupted. So, we're going through the normal plays. Ballista, again, is being the highlight of these combos. And the Gearbox, we're going to be searching, grabbing the Tunneler. And then we're going to be playing through, I believe, Imperm and Veiler as the next play. Summoning to where the Clifford is pointing to, grabbing the Regulus. Regulus is going to be our Omni Negate. We're going to then make the Excel Stardust, going into Baron to floor, pop the Piercer, grab the Stealthy special summon, link it all up into a triple monster negate, draw 2 in addition to that with the Tunneler, and there you go. The power of Superheavy Samurai after getting Ashed. So what is the next play? For this replay, we're going to get Impermed and Veilered. Well, it's going to be double Veiler. So how do you play through double Veiler? You're still going to end on Disruption, even if they double Veiler you. So they're the double Veilers, and let's see when they would do it. So we got the Wakashi setting up the scale. We're going to be searching for the Piercer. We're going to summon the Piercer going into our Scarecrow. Piercer is going to be searching. There's no good Veiler opportunity yet. Bike is going to be searching, grabbing the Peacemaker. And now it's time to Veil. We discard a card to reborn from the graveyard. Veiler negates. Okay, a single Veiler's nothing. We could easily play through one Veiler. That's why we got to make this double Veiler to make it a challenge. Peacemaker equip onto the Scarecrow, special one for the deck, the Piercer, and then we're going into the Excel Stardust Synchro. This will be the second Veiler. This is where we're done, right? It's over. It's not. So Veiler number 2 negates us from making a Baron to floor, and let's see what we still do. Now, instead of summoning scales from the deck with the Peacemaker, we're going to be adding the Piercer. By the time Veiler is activated on the Stardust Excel Synchro, we did not choose what to search yet. So by them chaining Veiler or Impermanence onto the Excel Stardust, we get to change our mind on what we want to search. So we're going to grab the scales, which we normally summon from the deck. We're going to instead summon from the hand. But we already used up our normal summon, right? Well, you could pendulum summon it onto the field to trigger its effect. So we're going to pendulum summon, reborn from the graveyard, our Bike here. Bike can change the level if we want to level 6. We're going to make our Baron to floor just like that. Now, this field's not that great, but we got double Veilered, Imperm and Veiler, and we still got our Baron to floor with the active Omni Negate. And we have pendulum scales for next turn. So what else we have? Now, NIBIRU is the big one. This is going to be quite interesting. We got 3 replays for NIBIRU. Starting this off here. All right, so we're going to be biking. Bike is going to be grabbing the Wakashi. Wakashi setting up the Benki. Benki searching for the Piercer. Normal the Piercer. And then we're going to go right into the Excel Stardust Synchro. So think of the summons here. 1, 2, 3, 4. As we reborn from the graveyard. And then 5, going right into Baron to floor. So if you get an early level 2 tuner in the graveyard, you can make Baron to floor on your 5th summon to negate that NIBIRU. And then you're popping off. Negate the NIBIRU. Got Spy going into the Scarecrow. Reborn the Piercer into a second Scarecrow. So if you want to do the NIBIRU line, this is the way. And then you know it from here. Summon the Scales. Scales summon the Piercer from the graveyard. So the difference of this combo is instead of normal summoning the Piercer going into the Scarecrow, you go into Stardust Excel if you have a Bike in the graveyard, a level 2 tuner to make that Baron to floor on your 5th summon. Pop the Piercer, grab the booster. Let's keep on playing this up. Now, why did we get rid of the Baron? Because it already negated, and it's only once while face up. So since it already used up its negate, we could turn it into Apollo, and if it did not use its negate, then we would keep it on the field. And the Scarecrow cannot be used for a link. And then we can have a Baron to floor, I should say a Boar load on top of that. Very well done. Now, another NIBIRU play. We're going to start off with Piercer. So this is going to be Summon 1, Summon 2, search our deck. Now we have Bike. Bike's going to be searching for the Wakashi. Wakashi's setting up. Summon number 3. Searching for the Piercer. We're going to discard Reborn. Summon number 4. So get ready for the 5th summon. Summon number 5. This is where we activate to Reborn from the graveyard and also activate to search our deck. Now let's say they don't NIBIRU here. I will show a replay where they do NIBIRU early. So let's say they want to NIBIRU here, right? NIBIRU time. This is where we could activate the Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon to then synchro into our Summon our Stardust, which is unaffected, and then go into a Baron to floor, which is unaffected by the NIBIRU. You're not summoning Baron to floor to negate NIBIRU. You're summoning it in response to the NIBIRU, where a normal Baron to floor would be tributed by NIBIRU, but because the Excel Stardust makes it unaffected from NIBIRU, it's unaffected. Now, we still lose our Scarecrow, but what else happens here? We got our Baron to floor. We got Pendulum Summon still. It's like, if you hold on to NIBIRU, they're going to have Baron. If you Baroned a little too late, then you chain summon the Baron. And then we're going to see what happens if you NIBIRU the Excel Stardust after this. So let's speed this up. Equip, summon from the deck, the Scales. We love Scales. Summon Piercer, going into the Ballista, searching for the Gearbox, grabbing the booster for the Extender special summon play. We are grabbing a monster that could be special summon onto the field here. So we're going to equip, then special summon, and then we're going to be special summoning the booster on top of that. And then we're going to be Shoconning into Masquerena, into Apollo USA, which is going to make her indestructible from card effect. And then we also have our Borreload Savage Dragon, Omni Negate on top of all of that. Now let's go into the next play. Alrighty. So what happens if they NIBIRU early? So we're on Summon 1, 2, Summon number 3. And then we're going to search. Got Bike. Okay. Let's fast forward this. Summon number 3. Summon number 4. Summon number 5. What happens if they chain NIBIRU here? We can't chain Excel Stardust to the NIBIRU because we need that level 2 tuner on the field. Activate, 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 chain NIBIRU mate. So you may be thinking on the last replay, yeah, I would have done this because I know what the effect is. But a lot of people may not be playing Stardust in their extra deck, so the NIBIRU on the previous replay could have been optimal had they not had Stardust in the extra deck. So we lose our whole field, NIBIRU comes out, but what were you chaining in response to? Us summoning a level 2 from the graveyard. So that level 2 is still going to be coming out and not being tributed by NIBIRU. We still get our search, we still have the Peacemaker, and we're still going to cook from here. Spy someone onto the field, Peacemaker equip. We're going to tribute, summon the Scales. Scales reborn the Piercer. Look how resilient this deck is showing you. Maxx C, Shifter, Ash, Imperm, Veiler, Droll, and Lockbird. And then, you know, just clapping up NIBIRU. This is just absolute insanity. We are going to, and you know, what's funny here is we're assuming they summon NIBIRU in the middle. So that's another a little nuanced play here because you want to stop the Clifford. The Clifford genius has to point to the middle on either extra scale, I'm thinking pendulums, the extra monster zone. So if you block that up, they're not going to be able to search for that free Therion or the free Kaiju. And then we got the Spring In. So see, this is the backup plan. If you can't make the Clifford, you're going to be instead making the Sargass to search for the Therion. Come to me. Let's fast forward this up. We got Asa here. We're going to be special summoning. Gear Gigan X is going to be searching for Wakashi. Wakashi, come to me. Sargass is going to be going into our Apollo USA. Very good. Triple monster negates. We got the Regulus equipped from the graveyard. Let's draw 2 cards here. I know this can get a bit boring seeing this replays over and over and over, but just in case you're jumping around and referencing these part of the combos, I do want to keep them intact. So we have an Omni Negate plus triple monster negate here. Now let's look at some deck lists. Thank you again, Super Peludo, for all the top tier decks and replays. So the different decks here are going to be the Scythe version, the Apollo USA version, which is standard in TCG, the Aurora Dawn, I'm not sure how popular this will be, the FTK Aurora Dawn, Dispater, and then pure Super Heavy Samurai. When we're talking pure, we're really talking pure. Like, let's say you hate Baron to Floor, this will be pure. And this channel's popping. People are chatting all day, every day in this. Let's show you those deck lists. This will be the Scythe version, which I believe will be the most popular way to play this deck. Here are some other options to throw into the main deck here. The Coral, which we saw in at least one replay. We saw the Soul Horns for double attacking with the Steam Train King. That's a big play. They Maxx C you or they shifter you, just going for that game, plus popping up the field. And the Coral's really good if your Wakashi is not able to be set up as a pendulum scale because you weren't able to synchro with it. So you'll also be able to pendulum summon it from your extra deck with the Coral. So that's some good use right there. Now the next deck list is going to be, this is the standard Apollo USA build with the Ancient Gear Ballista. Now this version did not have Ancient Gear Ballista. So this would be, you know, it looks like we have more hand traps here. And then a little bit less as we're going to have the Gearbox and the Tunneler. Just 2 cards, so maybe it's still worth it to play this. Yep, something like this. This will be a popular version of the deck, looking good. And then we have Aurora Dawn. I don't know about this. Like, look at the extra deck. We have Arclight, Dragster, the Excel Synchron, and I think we're main decking the Jet Synchron here. Okay. I don't know about this. Maybe, though. Maybe. And then what about this one? This is going to be, which one was this? This is the 4th deck. Let's 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay. This is the FTK version. If you want to FTK with Aurora Dawn, this will be the way. So yeah, I'm gonna show you the FTK with the Galaxy Queen's Light and also the Raiton. It's a funny replay. So if you want to get FTKing, this will be the replay, the deck that is. And then this deck list is what? The Dispater version. This one may be popular also. Get Dispater in. Dispater with the Omega, loop it up. Very well done. Anything interesting in the main deck here? Looking quite standard. Just the extra deck is different, and we're not playing Scythe. But, you know, I guess you still could if you want to make room for that. Here's the other cards you could put in. And then the pure version of Super Heavy Samurai, which, you know, if you want to role play, this is the role play deck. If you want to be a true Super Heavy Samurai Chad, no Baron to Floor, no Aurora Dawn. I know a lot of people complain about the generic extra deck monsters. Well, you don't have to be a complainer. You could just whip out the pure version of the deck yourself. I think you will still do well. You'll still clap. I think this could definitely get Master 1. It's going to be a lot more difficult. It's not going to be as good, definitely. But you at least don't really have to worry about the Wakashi effect of locking you into Super Heavy Samurai only when you discard a monster to summon a Super Heavy Samurai from the deck. So you could use that more freely. That's quite interesting. Now, what else do we have in this guide? We have the Degenerate Combos. Spell Canceller. Spells and their effects in the field cannot be activated and negate all spell effects on the field. How do we do that? We're going to speed this up. We're going to go Piercer into the Scarecrow, grabbing the Bike. Bike is going to be discarded, search for the Wakashi. Wakashi set up the scale, setting up the Benki. Benki searching for the Peacemaker. After we summon the Wakashi, we're going to discard to reborn the Piercer. Now we're going into the Excel Stardust line. Reborn the level 2 from the graveyard. Search our deck for a Spy, which will be an additional special summon. Peacemaker onto the Scarecrow, tribute it to summon from the deck our Scales, which will reborn the Piercer from the grave. Special summon the Spy. We're going to link this off into the Ballista. Piercer searching again for a booster. And we're also searching for the Gearbox with the Ballista. Gearbox being triggered, grabbing the Tunneler for the draw 2 combo play. booster special summoning itself onto the field, we're going to be making a Sargass. Searching for the Regulus. Regulus will summon itself onto the field, giving us an Omni Negate. Bearing the floor, pop the Piercer, searching for the Wakashi. And then we're going into the Clifford Genius, then Pendulum Summoning, 3 monsters onto the field. And this is where the Genius, instead of searching for a Therion, because we searched it with the Sargass instead, is giving us our level 5 or higher machine monster, which is our Spell Canceller. Were people actually doing this play? If we look on YugiOhMeta.com, soon to be released, yes, OCG has Canceller in the side deck here. TCG Canceller in the side deck. Another TCG Canceller in the side deck. So they're liking Canceller in the side deck, where for Master Duel, maybe we want it in the main deck. Let's see how we get it on the field, though. We already used up our normal summon, so how do we get it on the field? Wakashi discard. It's got to be our last play as we go into our Super Heavy Samurai only. All right, keep on searching, and then we're going to be drawing 2. Return 5 back into the deck. All right. Yep. Draw 2. And then Baron to 4 during the standby phase, reborn the Canceller from the grave, protected by Apollo USA and the Therion. Plus we could pop back row with the Sarutobi. Now Sarutobi is actually disruption in the mirror match. If they're setting up pendulum scales, they're making plays, pop their pendulum scale and you'll be pretty good. Okay, so if this deck becomes popular, then Sarutobi itself is some good disruption. And then the Canceller also can't activate spells, so that's going to be countering a ton of decks. Let's go into even more degeneracy. The first turn kills. Are you ready for the first turn kills? That's right, plural. Dark Strike Fighter. All right, let's do it. Let's speed this up. And it's going to play through Nibiru. Like, what? We're going to do it through Nibiru? Through Nibiru, first turn kill. Bike searching for Wakashi, summon the Wakashi. We're going to be Benki searching for the Peacemaker. Discard a card, reborn from the grave, Shokan into the Excel Stardust. And then they're going to chain Nibiru. We don't care, because we're going to first turn kill. Even if we're Maxx C here, maybe we still go for first turn kill, right? They're going to draw 100 cards, and let's see how this works. At what point does this turn into a first turn kill? Because it's looking quite standard so far. Grabbing a Samurai Security. Okay, that's kind of, it's just like an extender here, I'm thinking, right? Grabbing a booster. Security is activating its effects, though. What is this doing? Tribute this card, special summon an Earth monster from the graveyard, which will be our motorbike from the grave being reborn. Okay. Now, what the heck is this? Galaxy Photon Dragon. We're going to add a Galaxy or Photon card from our deck to our hand. So we're going to be, our deck's a little bit weird here. We're grabbing Galaxy Queen Light. Target a level 7 or higher monster. The levels of all other monsters you control become that current level of that monster until the end phase. This is where it gets really wacky. Get ready. We're going to be making our blocker. Okay, blocker is a machine, so is the Ballista. And that's going to go into our Auroradon. Auroradon, summon our triple token. Tribute. First going to use the boost up with the motorbike, okay? And then we're going to be making a Dark Strike Fighter. Just like that, it is a level 7 synchro. Tribute a monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the tributed monster's level on the field times 200. Now, it's once per turn. Hard once per turn. How could this be a one-turn kill? First turn kill, that is. Well, your level would have to be 40. How could we get a level 40 monster on the field? Let's see. We're going to use the Auroradon, tributing itself plus the token to summon a Raiton. Okay. And we're going to use Raiton to discard, double token on the field. And then we're going to be using the Queen's Light. What does this do? Targeting the Raiton. So what's happening here is this card's level is increased by the total levels, not total other cards, the total levels of the other Mecha Phantom Beast tokens you control while you control a token. We don't care about that effect, but it's gaining level to the other tokens, and we just boosted up the tokens, their level, by the Queen's Light. So we're going to then tribute it, burn for 8,600 damage. So all the tokens get boosted, thus that will boost up the Raiton to being level 43. Level 43 tribute with Dark Strike Fighter. This is Master Duel legal. This works in Master Duel. That is first turn kill through Nibiru. Now, what is the other first turn kill? It's with Blaze Fenix. This card is limited to 1 in Master Duel and OCG, I guess, for this reason, right? Let's see. Let's speed this up. Kashi set it up. All right. Piercer come to us. We're going to be then summoning, sending, searching. I know if you're watching the whole video from start to finish, I appreciate that immensely. But for anyone jumping to this part of the video, we do want to just showcase the whole combo from start to finish here. Got the wagon. We're going to be reborn. Now we got Baron to Floor for the hand trap protection. Equip the Peacemaker, summon a Scales, reborn from the graveyard. And then we're setting up for the Clifford Genius combo. Pendulum Shokan to where it's pointing to. That will trigger its effect to grab the Regulus for the Omni Negate. Booster come to our hand. Regulus is going to get ready to negate anything. Baron to Floor, pop the Piercer, grab the Stealthy, which is a free special summon. And then we're going to be making, what the heck is this? Garden Rose Maiden. Okay. Searching for a Black Garden. Playing the Black Garden. Oh my Jesus, what the heck? We have Proxy F Magician. We have Burner Visor. The Garden Rose Maiden is going to banish to reborn in Excel Star to Synchro from the graveyard. We're going to use the Proxy F Magician to fusion summon with the Link Monster into, what the heck is this? Blaze Fenix. Once per turn, during your main phase, it is a soft once per turn. Because they forgot to add the hard once per turn clause to it, we're going to keep on using its effect to inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each card on the field. Okay? So 12 cards in the field, 3,600 damage. Get burning. Now what? We're going to now be making the Promethean Princess. This brand new card is being used in first turn kills now. Oh my Jesus. Konami, what is going on? Reborn the Phoenix. How many cards in the field? We're going to burn again, but we're off by 800. What the heck? We're now going to be linking this off into a Link 4. Okay? And then Link 4, single card into the Zealantis, which will banish the Blaze Phoenix, then reborn the Blaze Phoenix. Let's freaking go. Summon, summon, summon. And, you know, the Black Garden's also summoning tokens on their field here. And then we burn for the final amount of lethal damage. Now, the final Degenerate combo, then we're going to be ending this video. Oh, my Jesus, 1 hour. X-Saber Gothams. Hand looping back in my day. It is not a hard once per turn. It's not even soft once per turn. It's on the field, and per X-Saber you have on the field, discard a card from the opponent's hand by tributing an X-Saber. How do we do this? Let's go. Speed this up. So if you want to be crazy, these are the ways to be crazy. I just had to include them. I was thinking about making a separate video for them, but, this is fine. Maybe I'll make a separate video of it actually happening in game. That could be fun, yes? It's one thing to show you how to do it. It's another to show you it actually being done. All right, I assume most people will surrender and not even let you get this far. There's no way. Equip the Peacemaker, tribute someone from the deck. We got Scales, someone from the graveyard. We're going to be Soul Horns, just special summon itself onto the field, linking off into the Ballista. Piercer grabbing our Wakashi, Ballista grabbing the Gearbox. Gearbox activate to search our deck for the Samurai Constable. We got the Genius. We got the Pendulum summon to where it's pointing to grab the Therion King Regulus for the Omni Negate. We're going to be tributing to reborn the Piercer from the graveyard to trigger its effect to search again. So it's summoned a Motorbike in the other combo, and it recycled Piercer for this combo. And then we have Gothams, which will tribute to rip a card out of the hand. So Gothams number 1, okay? So that's 1 card out of their hand. Baron to Floor, pop the Piercer. Grabbing the Booster. Let's speed this up. Booster, equip, summon onto the field. And then Ellenbert. What the heck is this going to be doing? Ellenbert is going to be detaching 3 cards to search our deck for a Vernissalif. What the heck? Vernissalif is here. We're going to grab the other Vernissalif instead. It's going to discard any card from our hand plus itself to reborn the Gothams and search our deck. So Gothams, discard another card from their hand by tributing itself. That's 2 cards in the hand. And then we're going to be grabbing another Vernissalif, reborn from the graveyard. Gothams, 3 cards from the hand. Okay. And then Gothams, 4 cards from the hand. And we're going to draw 2 because we have a Tunneler in the grave. 4 cards ripped from the hand. And then return 5 cards back in the deck to draw 2. And we have some Omni Negates. So the opponent should only have 1 card left in their hand. Plus we have an Omni Negate for that 1 card. And then their newly drawn card is we have another Omni Negate. So this is essentially a first turn kill also. Only 2 cards they're going to have when their turn starts. 2 cards, 2 Omni Negates, That's it. So you pick your poison. First turn kills or rip 4 cards plus 2 Omni Negates. That is going to be it for the video. Make sure to check out the Discord, and I think I'll be pinning his spreadsheet that was showing all the cool combos and all that good stuff. So this is the combo spreadsheet. Again, big shout out to this mad lad, Super Peludo. I'm probably saying your name incorrectly. I'm very sorry for that. Huge shout out to this mad lad. There are so many more combos that I did not have time to cover. This video is already 1 hour long. I tried to condense the video into the most common combos and information that you want to know about. So this is if you want to use it as an engine. Like, there's so much here. Oh my gosh, playing the even more hand trap stuff. But like, are any of you gonna have time to even look through all this? Holy moly, multiple different iterations of the first turn kills. Super Heavy Samurai combo variants. Oh my gosh, what the heck? And then, you know, the combos for the TCG Mad Lads, and then the Earth Machine spreadsheet if you care about Earth Machine. So huge shout out to all of you watching, and Super Polito for making this great guide. And thank you all very much. I'll be seeing you on twitch.tv/Decade, where we are going to keep on leaking on a weekly basis. Maybe not on the new pack day, but make sure you check out the stream. We're going to be seeing through tournaments objectively what is the best way to play Super Heavy Samurai. So many different ways. It could even be comboed up with Monadium. I don't really know what is going to be the default way. I can't wait to find out with you. And with that said, we are out.